Continuing from the previous chapter, Xiao Yan never expected that this young girl, Qing Yuan, would turn out to be a purple-winged angel from the angelic clan. As two voices suddenly echoed, Xiao Yan's pupils constricted tightly, and a milky white flame immediately enveloped his entire body. One of the voices was unmistakably that of his master, the Golden Dragon King, but the other sent a tremor straight to Xiao Yan's soul. Who would have thought she'd be such a charming little girl? A voice as clear as a silver bell sounded. From the shadows, a woman draped in green robes slowly stepped toward Xiao Yan. As Xiao Yan looked at Qing Yuan descending from the sky, he breathed a sigh of relief. At least the foundation-strengthening pill had worked. He reached out his hand, intending to catch Qing Yuan. Suddenly, in the calm air, an unexpected event erupted. Boom! Just as Xiao Yan extended his hand, a sharp, crisp sound suddenly rang out beside him. In an instant, the hard emerald stone bed next to Xiao Yan shattered violently. Countless tiny green fragments erupted from the river, intertwining with lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, they formed an extremely sharp sword tip, thrusting toward Xiao Yan. Watch out! The Golden Dragon King retreated into Xiao Yan's ring the moment the sound appeared. Being only in soul form now, the Golden Dragon King was cautious not to make a move without knowing the enemy, especially since he had unresolved matters to attend to and couldn't afford any mishaps. The sudden turn of events caught both Qing Yuan, who was hovering mid-air, and Xiao Yan by surprise. Qing Yuan, stay back. Protect yourself, Xiao Yan shouted loudly. Despite having heard the mysterious voice just now and sensing the mysterious attack, even when unleashing his full Imperial realm mortal-grade soul power, he couldn't pinpoint where the mysterious figure was hiding. All right, okay, Qing Yuan nodded. She wasn't sure what was happening, but there was always an inexplicable sense of closeness emanating from Xiao Yan, so she remained quietly in midair. With a quick glance around, she noticed the seven-colored healing flame flower before her. With a gentle flutter of her purple wings, she moved toward the flower. As her delicate hand touched the seven-colored healing flame flower, it transformed into a streak of light that shot straight into her forehead. The area where Xiao Yan and his companions were was a small forest, partially obscured by trees, making it difficult to spot the assailant. In the forest, a faintly green silhouette, which had been standing as still as a tree, suddenly darted out with lightning speed. The green silhouette moved with terrifying speed, and in the blink of an eye, it flashed in front of the just-awakened Qing Yuan. In a swift move, the figure's arms stretched out, snatching Qing Yuan into its embrace. Despite Qing Yuan's newly advanced strength at the one-star Do-D level, she was subdued instantly by the green figure. Trying to escape? With Qing Yuan in its grasp, the green figure lightly tapped its toes in midair, preparing to make a swift departure. However, just as the sharp sword tip, formed from the emerald stone bed, lunged at Xiao Yan, a surge of milky white flames burst forth, instantly incinerating it to nothingness. In a flash, Xiao Yan activated the 3000 Thunder movement, darting straight toward the green figure in midair. With a low shout, his foot, imbued with fierce energy, slammed ferociously toward the green figure's head. Sensing the ferocity of Xiao Yan's attack, the green figure waved its hand, conjuring a massive white barrier that abruptly materialized around it. The barrier effortlessly withstood Xiao Yan's assault. Blocking Xiao Yan's offensive, the green figure twisted its body in midair with a peculiar agility and shot out of the small forest. Stop him. I've created an energy barrier with a small opening. If he gets through, he'll escape. The Golden Dragon King's voice echoed in Xiao Yan's mind. Just as the green figure, carrying Qing Yuan, was about to leave the small forest, the energy barrier that Xiao Yan's master, the Golden Dragon King, had set up suddenly lit up. In an instant, the milky white flames on the barrier condensed into a thick door-like wall, sealing the small opening shut. With a light tap on the door wall, the green figure reluctantly recoiled, gracefully leaping to the top of a tree. Gazing at Xiao Yan, who was relentlessly pursuing, the figure chuckled. Little brother, no need to chase me so desperately. I haven't stolen your food. This girl is a long-lost member of our clan, and I must take her back." Within the small forest, Xiao Yan swiftly darted to the top of another tree, facing the green figure from a distance. He stared coldly at the woman in green robes, her face obscured, while the milky white flames around him surged violently. "Stop spouting nonsense. This girl is my sister. You can't just take her away like this," Xiao Yan retorted. He had no regard for the green figure's identity. If it weren't for the disparity in strength, he would have already acted instead of wasting words. In the sky, Xiao Yan's expression turned grim as he locked his gaze on the green figure ahead. The ancient ruler of heavenly flames reappeared behind him. "If you don't believe me, then I'm afraid I'll have to offend you," the green figure said with a slight bow. "I must take this person away today." With a wave of the figure's hand, an invisible force surged toward Xiao Yan. The force rushed toward him. Even with the protection of his milky white heavenly flame armor, it cut across Xiao Yan's body like a blade, causing a slight sting. "Damn it!" Xiao Yan muttered under his breath as he saw Qing Yuan in the green figure's grasp begin to faint again. He then slowly drew the heavy ruler from his back. "Flame-splitting sea-devouring ruler." A low shout echoed in the sky, and suddenly, dozens of meters in front of the woman in green, the space distorted slightly. Then a massive blade light, enveloped in milky white flames, burst forth with incredible speed. In an instant, it condensed into a solid wall of fire, over a dozen meters wide and thick in the sky. On the surface of the fiery wall, sharp blade lights, several meters long, were densely packed. It was easy to imagine the terrible consequences of crashing into it, like running headlong into a bed of spikes. It was a trapping wall of flames that Xiao Yan had subtly modified from the original flame-splitting sea-devouring ruler. The sudden appearance of the enormous wall of fire in the sky made the green figure frown slightly. "Umph." The woman in green snorted angrily at the unexpected firewall surrounding her. It was clear that not only did she need to protect Qing Yuan, but she also had to deal with Xiao Yan's relentless attacks. Even she found it somewhat challenging. "Break for me," she shouted. Holding the unconscious Qing Yuan in her left arm, she thrust her right hand forcefully at the void ahead. Instantly, white light surged toward the sky, and a vast white pillar of light appeared mysteriously. As soon as the white pillar appeared, it began to intertwine. In just over 10 seconds, countless white light pillars merged into a single massive white beam, over a dozen meters thick. The enormous white beam, filled with terrifying power and wrapped in a radiant glow, shot forward with a howling wind sound, slamming fiercely into the formidable wall of fire. Boom! A loud explosion echoed high in the sky. The immense wall of flames was blasted open, creating a large gap. As the explosion and falling flames resounded from above, the woman in green shot through the gap like a lightning bolt. At the same time, she swung her arm backward. Immediately, the enormous white beam of energy reversed its direction and shot back through the opening, smashing straight toward Xiao Yan. Feeling the intense pressure of the powerful force, Xiao Yan's expression shifted slightly. He quickly spread his right palm. As the massive white beam came hurtling toward him, he paused momentarily. A colossal pillar of milky white flames erupted from his palm. The milky white flame pillar clashed fiercely with the energy beam. As the beam moved nearly 10 meters forward, a chilling, icy force from the milky white flames rapidly spread, freezing the beam in its tracks. It was the bone-chilling and scorching power of the bone-chilling flame within the heavenly flame. Ice! Xiao Yan's figure shot forward like a lightning bolt, his toes lightly tapping on the frozen beam. A hidden force surged from his toes, causing the energy beam to explode with a thunderous blast. As icy shards scattered across the sky, Xiao Yan's body flashed through the gap in the firewall, then abruptly stopped, quietly watching the woman in green who had suddenly halted her flight. As Xiao Yan paused to gaze at the woman opposite him, milky white flames continued to flicker between his palms. Staring at her, he muttered softly to himself, "Why isn't she running? Unable to decipher her reasons, Xiao Yan shook his head, his eyes never leaving the woman. After a moment of silence, he spoke. Your strength is indeed much greater than mine. Alone, I might struggle to stop you. But it's unfortunate for you. You're now trapped within the energy barrier I've set up. Besides, I can sense that you're not skilled in combat. Hand over Qing Yuan. I have no desire for conflict with you, Xiao Yan said solemnly. That won't do. I came to the lower world searching for something that was lost. I've been searching for decades, and now that I've finally found it, even a 5-star Do-D wouldn't make me let go, let alone someone with your mere peak 3-star Do-D strength. The woman in green replied with a smile, her tone leaving no room for negotiation. The green figure, however, was surprised. The flames around this young man were clearly extraordinary, possessing terrifying heat and some other strange powers. Furthermore, this young man had somehow discerned her lack of combat skills. Could he have deduced this from her recent attacks? What if there's another person? Xiao Yan's patience was wearing thin as he glared at the woman in green. Without delay, he let out a low shout, and an immense soul power surged from his soul sea. It condensed into a figure with an identical aura to Xiao Yan's, appearing out of thin air. The two Xiao Yans, side by side, prepared to launch a fierce attack once more. An Imperial realm mortal-grade soul clone, impressive indeed. The green figure murmured as she observed the identical duo before her. With her peak 5-star Do-D strength, she recognized Xiao Yan's technique. If it weren't for her own peculiar circumstances, dealing with a mere 3-star Do-D youth wouldn't have been so troublesome. Though I may not excel in combat, even with the two of you, you're not guaranteed to defeat me in a direct confrontation, the woman in green said with a hint of arrogance in her smile. Then let's find out. Xiao Yan responded with a cold smirk. Qing Yuan harbored many secrets. Being praised by his usually disdainful master, the Golden Dragon King, this purple-winged angel was undoubtedly exceptional. Xiao Yan wouldn't let anyone take her away until he found a suitable place for her. This was Xiao Yan's first time using the Imperial realm mortal-grade soul clone since learning about it, showing how much he valued Qing Yuan. Xiao Yan, clad in black, stood in stark contrast to his soul clone, dressed in white. Milky white flames gradually surrounded the two, burning ever fiercer as they leaned forward, preparing to strike. Two grown men bullying a woman, but I won't insist on fighting you both alone, the woman in green said with a sigh, shaking her head. A pair of pure white wings slowly unfolded behind her, appearing within Xiao Yan's line of sight. As the white wings appeared, the green figure's pupils contracted tightly. Xiao Yan then sensed a slightly sharp soul force. Though not strong, the soul force carried a peculiar ripple, spreading out from the sky. The terrifying soul shock forced both Xiao Yan and his clone to use their soul power defensively. Shortly after the soul ripple spread out, a similar sound echoed from the distant edge of the energy barrier. Suddenly, a massive beast, nearly 10 meters long, soared into the sky and flew toward them. Its enormous shadow covered the ground of the forest downstream of the waterfall. The beast was extremely slender, resembling a horse, but with a single horn on its forehead and 3 pairs of pure white wings, it appeared somewhat like a high-tier horse-type magical beast. However, its flying speed was astonishingly fast, leaving onlookers in shock. With just a few twists and turns of its giant wings, it seemed to teleport, flashing several times before arriving near the woman in green. As the beast approached, its full form came into Xiao Yan's view, making him involuntarily gasp. A 3-winged unicorn. It's said that unicorns can have up to 9 wings, a power comparable to a human Do-Sien expert. But this unicorn, Xiao Yan, it'll be quite a challenge for you to handle. The Golden Dragon King's voice slowly emerged. Just as the Golden Dragon King's voice resonated within Xiao Yan, the approaching 3-winged unicorn raised its proud head, glancing at Xiao Yan. Why does your aura feel familiar? I sense it too. I wonder if it's just an illusion. Never mind that. You keep him occupied while I take the girl, the green figure said. Are you sure? The 3-winged unicorn looked at the girl in the green figure's arms and slowly asked. Yes, the purple wings. All right. Always leaving the dirty work to me, the three-winged unicorn grumbled. Hearing this, the green figure suddenly accelerated, carrying Qing Yuan and rushing toward the edge of the energy barrier. Stop! Xiao Yan shouted, instantly activating the 3000 Thunder movement to chase after the green figure. Your opponent is me. A terrifying energy whirlwind accompanied the voice, surging toward Xiao Yan. Damn it! Xiao Yan was forced to divert his attention to confront the three-winged unicorn. As Xiao Yan and his clone carefully assessed the unicorn's strength, they both frowned. This creature was comparable to a peak 4-star Do-D human expert, making it a formidable opponent that demanded Xiao Yan's full attention. Deciding it was better to focus his efforts, Xiao Yan retracted his soul clone. Numbers alone wouldn't grant him an advantage, and any harm to the clone could damage his own essence, something he couldn't afford. If he wanted to catch up with the green figure, he would have to defeat the three-winged unicorn first. This is going to be troublesome. Xiao Yan's expression darkened as he sensed the overwhelming pressure emanating from the beast. At that moment, Qing Yuan, who had been unconscious, began to wake up slowly. The mysterious woman in green gently flicked her slender finger on Qing Yuan's forehead, causing the newly awakened girl to fall back into unconsciousness. Curiously, just as Qing Yuan had awakened, a purple feather from her purple wings dropped and flew toward Xiao Yan, unnoticed by the woman in green. Seeing this, Xiao Yan hurriedly reached out to catch it. Although he wasn't sure what purpose the purple feather served, Qing Yuan must have had a reason for sending it to him. The three-winged unicorn watched Xiao Yan calmly, seeming indifferent. Haha, little guy, don't worry, I wouldn't dare harm you. The woman in green spoke gently, her tone tender like a mother's as she softly smiled and cradled Qing Yuan in her arms. She then looked up, gazing at Xiao Yan with a cheerful smile. Little human brother, you can relax. This girl is far too precious. We wouldn't dare harm her. Who are you, and why are you trying to take Qing Yuan? Xiao Yan demanded, his eyes narrowing. Though he wasn't sure who these people were, he was certain they were connected to the angelic clan. So this little girl's name is Qing Yuan? That's quite nice. The woman in green chuckled, carefully lifting the fringe of Qing Yuan's hair. She stared intently at the mysterious rune on Qing Yuan's forehead, which shone with the same vibrant purple as her wings. Satisfied, she murmured softly, so it really is the purple wings. It seems we're quite fortunate this time. The action of the woman in green, lifting Qing Yuan's bangs, made Xiao Yan's mouth twitch slightly. He now understood that the mysterious woman was also after Qing Yuan's unique purple wings from the angelic clan. Ever since the green-robed woman had appeared, Xiao Yan's master, the Golden Dragon King, had remained silent. He likely feared that maintaining contact with Xiao Yan might reveal his presence. Understanding this, Xiao Yan refrained from asking about the woman's identity. The aura you released earlier. Why does it feel so familiar to me? Have we met before? The woman in green suddenly asked, looking at Xiao Yan with a slight frown, seemingly puzzled. Is that so? Xiao Yan responded ambiguously. Xiao Yan said coldly, I don't care who you are, but I must ask you to return Qing Yuan to me. If you refuse, I'll have no choice but to take her back by force. This little girl is extremely important to me. Handing her over to you is impossible. The woman in green shook her head with a smile. Her gaze swept over Xiao Yan, and she chuckled softly. I'll be leaving now. Stop right there. Hearing this, Xiao Yan did not hesitate any longer. With a low shout, a surge of terrifying milky white flames erupted from his body, instantly raising the temperature around the waterfall below. His toes pressed sharply against the treetop, and cracks began to spread rapidly from his foot. The massive tree began to shatter into pieces in an instant. Using the force from the recoil, Xiao Yan's body shot forward like a bullet, heading straight for the green-robed woman who was about to flee. As his figure flashed through the air, Xiao Yan's fist, wrapped in milky white flames, shot toward the green-robed woman with a sonic boom and intense heat. The woman in green hesitated for a moment, then stomped her foot. With a crackling sound, the tree beneath her exploded violently. Simultaneously, the pure white wings on her back slowly spread out, and 10 long white energy whips shot out from her wings. The whips danced in the air, wrapping around her entire body, easily deflecting Xiao Yan's terrifying attack and sending him flying backward. "Your opponent is me," said the three-winged unicorn, flapping its 3 pairs of pure white wings and staring at Xiao Yan with its beastly eyes. Watching the green figure retreat with Qing Yuan, Xiao Yan bent his knees, his body forming a bow-like stance. In an instant, he soared upwards, appearing like a flash of lightning above the energy barrier, right over the head of the woman in the green robe. His body twisted midair, his foot arcing down in a powerful spin. With a forceful whoosh, his heels smashed heavily onto her shoulder. Despite landing a hit, Xiao Yan's expression showed no joy. From his senses, it seemed that what he struck wasn't a human body, but something soft and pliable, like a feather. Moreover, the feather even reflected some of the force back, causing Xiao Yan's stance to waver slightly. "Jana, stop just watching the show and block him. I need to get the girl out of here first. If we attract any of the strong ones from the magical beast mountain range nearby and fail this mission, the consequences..." The woman in green grumbled with a hint of dissatisfaction after being struck by Xiao Yan. She then turned angrily toward the three-winged unicorn, which was standing idly as if watching a play. Yeah, I know. Women are so naggy," the three-winged unicorn replied impatiently. Clearly, it wasn't concerned about Xiao Yan, given that he was only a mere peak 3-star Dodi, hardly worth mentioning. After speaking, the wings on the unicorn's back slowly began to flap. From them, a terrifying, invisible wave of energy began to emerge. The wings gently raised, and a massive pillar of white energy shot out, aimed straight at Xiao Yan's chest. Crossing his arms before him, a milky white flame flared up, blocking the energy pillar entirely. Although the attack did not inflict much damage on Xiao Yan, the force contained within the pillar still pushed him back slightly. Farewell. But don't worry, little brother. I won't harm the girl." The woman in green laughed, her wings slowly unfolding behind her. She darted toward the sky beyond the energy barrier. As soon as she finished speaking, the green silhouette flew towards the edge of the energy barrier, while the massive three-winged unicorn began to scrutinize Xiao Yan slowly. "Damn it!" Xiao Yan cursed under his breath. The green figure was indeed cunning. He had no choice but to confront the three-winged unicorn directly. "Human boy, since you were the little girl's brother, I should, in theory, respect you. But you're not quite there yet. Just stay here for a few minutes. Once that woman is far away, I won't trouble you. However, if you insist on chasing after her, then I..." The three-winged unicorn spoke slowly, its beastly eyes fixed intently on Xiao Yan. "Think you can just leave? Hand over the girl." Seeing the woman in green flash towards the edge of the energy barrier, Xiao Yan's face darkened. He unleashed the 3,000th under movement, his body shooting forward like a bolt. He knew well that as long as they remained within the energy barrier, he could still sense the green figure's aura. But if she escaped beyond the barrier, finding her would be like searching for a needle in a haystack. Your opponent is me." The three-winged unicorn chuckled as it saw Xiao Yan trying to fly past it. With all 3 wings flapping in unison, its massive body suddenly blocked Xiao Yan's path. Its tail lashed out with such terrifying force that the very space around it seemed to warp and crack. Sensing the immense power of the beast's tail, Xiao Yan's expression changed slightly. He dared not take the blow head-on and quickly twisted his body to dodge it. Although he avoided the attack, his attempt to pursue was effectively thwarted. "Damn it!" Xiao Yan muttered under his breath, forced to abandon his chase of the green-clad woman as he dodged the three-winged unicorn's relentless assaults. The wind howled fiercely, with streams of terrifying flames swirling within it. In an instant, a massive white tornado, covered in blazing heat, appeared out of thin air in the sky. Even with his strength, constructing such a fierce fiery storm was no easy feat, and beads of sweat began to form on Xiao Yan's forehead. "Get out of my way!" he shouted, and with a wave of his sleeve, the enormous fiery storm, accompanied by a sharp, piercing wind, roared toward the three-winged unicorn. Impressive display, but I am a 4-star DoD. With your 3-star strength. How do you plan to contend with me? Ha ha ha. Watching the advancing fiery storm, the 3-winged unicorn laughed heartily. With a slight flap of its pristine white wings, black flames suddenly erupted from its body, continuously pouring out. These flames gathered above its head, forming a similarly massive black tornado. Having completed this, the unicorn's tail lashed out, sending the enormous black storm, made entirely of eerie black flames, hurtling forward. It carried an almost terrifying force, violently colliding with the white fiery storm. The black and white storms clashed fiercely, their terrifying energy waves slowly brewing. At the moment of impact, the space where the two forces met seemed to crack open, leaving tiny black fissures. Boom! The white and black energies held against each other for a brief moment before exploding in the sky with a deafening blast. The powerful explosion sound was so intense that it could be faintly heard even from 1,000 meters away. As the white and black flame storms detonated, a ripple of energy spread out from the explosion, forcing both Xiao Yan and the 3-winged unicorn to retreat rapidly. Haha, the human boy is indeed interesting. No wonder you were able to hold off that woman for so long. It turns out you have some confidence after all. The 3-winged unicorn laughed, seeing the cold sweat on Xiao Yan's forehead. Flame-splitting sea-devouring ruler. Before the 3-winged unicorn's laughter could fully subside, its massive beastly eyes suddenly contracted, and the pristine white scales covering its body tightened in a strange manner. Without waiting for the unicorn to make a move, Xiao Yan's shout had barely faded when he slowly raised the ancient ruler of heavenly flames in his hand and fiercely slashed at the massive beast before him. The milky white flames on the ancient ruler of heavenly flames surged upward, creating a blazing arc as it roared forward. The 3-winged unicorn seemed to understand Xiao Yan's tactics, and its 3 pairs of wings rapidly flapped. The seemingly terrifying fiery slash was instantly neutralized. The unicorn had cleverly used the movement of its wings to manipulate the airflow, causing Xiao Yan's fiery slash to veer slightly off course, and thus deftly dissipating his attack. Although the 3-winged unicorn skillfully deflected Xiao Yan's strike, a few pale feathers from its wings fell off and quickly wrapped around its massive body. Seeing this, Xiao Yan pushed his 3,000 thunder movement to its limit. In a flash, he appeared at the waist of the 3-winged unicorn's massive body, his fist, engulfed in milky white flames, clenched tightly. Not only was his solid fist radiating terrifying heat, but it also carried a fierce, violent force like a bursting thunderbolt. He smashed it down forcefully. At that moment, Xiao Yan's arm under his wide black sleeve seemed to harden like iron. His fist landed heavily on the 3-winged unicorn's body, but Xiao Yan's expression turned grim because, to his surprise, the unicorn's body, wrapped in feathers, suddenly felt like a soft, padded jacket. His punch connected, but in the end, it was deflected off the feather-covered surface. Despite most of his attack missing, a small part still landed solidly on the unicorn's body. The intense heat contained within the milky white flames caused a small portion of the feathers at the impact site to curl up. Hiss, your flame is quite peculiar. It's only missing a little something. Otherwise, it could rival the legendary sacred flame. The 3-winged unicorn remarked with interest after dispersing the soaring slash and then raising its head to look at Xiao Yan. But as Xiao Yan's fiery fist attacked again, the sharp pain from his body caused the massive unicorn to recoil violently. Its enormous tail whipped back and smashed into Xiao Yan's back, sending him flying like a rag doll. Ugh! The massive force hitting his back made Xiao Yan cough up a small mouthful of blood. He hurriedly circulated the flame mantra throughout his body to steady his staggering stance. Damn it! This beast is proving to be such a challenge, Xiao Yan muttered to himself. Moreover, it was clear that the 3-winged unicorn had no intention of striking back at Xiao Yan. It remained on the defensive, seemingly stalling for time. During this delay, the woman in green had already vanished beyond the energy barrier, with Qing Yuan in tow. Faced with this towering beast, as imposing as a giant tree, Xiao Yan couldn't help but approach the situation with greater seriousness. His milky white flames were ineffective. The flame-splitting sea-devouring ruler proved useless. And even the more potent seven-layered skybreaker ruler might achieve minimal effect. Watching the milky white flames flickering on his body, with numerous colors seeming to dance within them, a bold idea suddenly surfaced in Xiao Yan's mind. This nearly insane thought caused Xiao Yan to shudder involuntarily. No matter how hard he tried to suppress it, the notion persisted, clinging to his mind, refusing to go away, as if it were an obsession. Unable to shake off the idea, Xiao Yan found himself gradually becoming enthralled by it, mumbling to himself, "Ever since I ascended to Do-Di, I haven't tried this yet." Opposite him, the three-winged unicorn casually swayed its massive tail. Each swing of the tail generated a powerful gust of wind in the sky, revealing the terrifying strength it contained. He, finally giving up? The three-winged unicorn glanced at the motionless Xiao Yan across from it and chuckled. Giving up would be wise. No need to waste your energy in vain. The unicorn smiled, lifting its proud head and turning slightly, its gaze fixed on the distant horizon. It muttered softly, "That woman has probably reached a safe place by now, hasn't she? My task of blocking should be over." It then turned back to Xiao Yan, its laughter filled with a sense of arrogant mockery. "You, human boy, are quite remarkable among the humans I've seen. If you continue training diligently, you might surpass me one day. But for now, you're still." As the three-winged unicorn finished speaking, its massive tail swayed slightly, its eyes fixed intently on Xiao Yan's every move. Its body slowly retreated, clearly displaying a sense of caution. It had already begun to look for an escape route, aware that the human boy before it was the little girl's brother. If it were to attack him, there would certainly be consequences once the girl found out later. Xiao Yan's eyes were locked onto the retreating, three-winged unicorn. After a moment of inner struggle, he finally made up his mind. He slowly extended both hands, his long, slender, and fair palms looking almost like those of a woman, seemingly devoid of any strength. What's this? Still not willing to give up? Even though you possess a peculiar flame, it's clear from its appearance that it lacks something crucial. You can't seem to unleash its full power." The three-winged unicorn, sensing Xiao Yan's movements, stopped its retreat. Its pupils were tightly fixed on Xiao Yan, and it snorted with a hint of impatience. Hearing the three-winged unicorn's words, Xiao Yan frowned. The beast's sharp insight was undeniable. Ever since arriving on the Do-Di continent, his unique flame felt as if something was missing, never quite as effective as it was back on the Do-Chi continent. After a brief hesitation, Xiao Yan raised both hands to the sky, palms outstretched before him. For a moment, all was still. Then, on his left hand, the milky white flame surged forth, its intense heat causing the space around it to distort slightly and appear hazy. Xiao Yan's left hand clenched slightly, the eerie milky white flame churning and releasing a fierce energy. The massive eyes of the three-winged unicorn watched him with a mocking glint. Although the flame had a certain restraining effect on it, the unicorn felt no real fear. It sensed that this human boy could not fully harness the flame's power. The mockery in the unicorn's eyes lasted only a moment. Suddenly, the milky white flame on Xiao Yan's left hand split into multiple smaller flames, appearing before him. The unicorn's large eyes abruptly contracted, a flicker of shock and fear, almost human-like, flashing across them. 22 flames? Damn it, how is this possible? How could you have so many flame origins within you? As it sensed the presence of 22 distinct flames, the three-winged unicorn's beastly gaze froze momentarily. Then, like a creature whose tail had been stepped on, its massive body arched up, and a sharp, agitated voice echoed through the sky. With its keen eyes, the unicorn had immediately sensed the 22 distinct flames that had split from the original milky white flame. Each of these 22 flames, derived from the milky white one, contained a fundamentally different origin power. Incredible. You, human, actually possess so many heavenly flames. The three-winged unicorn, well-traveled and knowledgeable, was stunned by the revelation. The terrifying heat emanating from Xiao Yan's flames, coupled with the unique powers within each flame, hinted at their origins as mysterious heavenly flames. Though these flames were far weaker than the legendary sacred flame, they were still formidable. The unicorn took a deep breath, eyes fixed on the space in front of Xiao Yan, its mind in turmoil. Never before had it heard of anyone possessing so many heavenly flames simultaneously. It was common knowledge that even if these flames were not as powerful as the sacred flame, they were inherently dominant and destructive. Usually, two such flames would be like mortal enemies, highly incompatible with each other. If two flames coexisted within one person's body, only one outcome could be expected: two highly unstable bombs colliding, leading to a spectacular explosion that would annihilate both. Yet, this young man before it had a staggering 22. The three-winged unicorn couldn't understand how Xiao Yan could simultaneously wield so many flames. However, it clearly sensed that at the moment these flames appeared, the normally docile energy within the young man's body, and the flames themselves, had suddenly become much more volatile. Opposite Xiao Yan, the three-winged unicorn continued its frantic cursing, clearly shaken by the astonishing reality of Xiao Yan possessing so many flames. Ignoring the three-winged unicorn's frantic antics, Xiao Yan's gaze remained fixed on the 22 differently colored flames before him, his lips twitching slightly. After a moment, he gritted his teeth. An overwhelming surge of spiritual power erupted from him as he slowly brought his hands together, merging the 22 violent flame origins. Crazy, he's a madman. This guy is absolutely insane. The three-winged unicorn shouted in horror at Xiao Yan's actions. Cursing loudly, the unicorn retreated further, watching Xiao Yan from a distance. It was clear that it had sensed a wave of energy from Xiao Yan strong enough to destroy it. Xiao Yan didn't hesitate. The three-winged unicorn was clearly allied with the woman from earlier. If he could capture this unicorn, he might be able to force out Qing Yuan's whereabouts. Fueled by his reckless thoughts, he decided that since creating the flame mantra on the Do-Chi continent and inheriting from his master, the Toasha ancient emperor, he had never attempted a true fusion again. Previously, Xiao Yan had fused 22 flames into the Buddha Fury Flame Lotus, which, while powerful, involved flames that had been consumed and refined by him, making them tamer and less volatile. As a result, their power was significantly diminished. The fusion of refined flames and the fusion of their original flame sources were two entirely different concepts. The former involved the fusion of tamed flames to create the Buddha Fury Flame Lotus, while the latter involved the fusion of original flame sources. The fusion of flames containing their primordial, violent essence. Since his battle with the Emperor of the Soul on the Do-Chi continent, Xiao Yan had not tried fusing the 22 original flame sources within him. Until now, the moment the 22 differently colored flames came into contact, a muffled thunder-like sound erupted from Xiao Yan's palms. Instantly, his hands were torn open, blood flowing freely. If not for the immense Do-Chi protecting his palms, they might have been blown apart on the spot. Gritting his teeth against the searing pain in his hands, Xiao Yan's dark eyes focused on the 22 flames before him, which had just begun to merge. The flames appeared bizarre and eerie. Ignoring the terrifying, chaotic energy emanating from the collision of the different flames, which was causing the space around them to twist and distort, Xiao Yan pressed his hands together with all his might. The gap between his palms was barely half a centimeter, but that small distance required Xiao Yan to mobilize every ounce of strength from his body's cells to bring them closer, even by a fraction. The three-winged unicorn watched Xiao Yan, who looked like a madman, with a fixed gaze. Although it knew it was unwise to stay under such circumstances, it was too intrigued and jealous of Xiao Yan's ability to wield 22 different heavenly flames simultaneously. It insisted on staying, wanting to witness this arrogant human's self-destruction. After all, with its vast experience on the Do-Di continent, it had never heard of anyone using flames in such a way. Blood continued to seep from Xiao Yan's hands, dripping onto the ground as the 22 flames, each containing terrifying power, slowly compressed. However, during the compression, Xiao Yan was also enduring the backlash from these 22 different flames. At one point, he let out a muffled grunt, spat out a mouthful of blood, which fell into the flames and was instantly incinerated into nothingness. Strangely, as Xiao Yan's blood entered the enormous fiery orb, the flames, which had been slowly merging, suddenly seemed agitated. The chaotic elements he had suppressed surged up again. Merge! Xiao Yan growled through gritted teeth, his gaze stubbornly fixed on the 22 entangled flames before him. He knew his actions were incredibly reckless, but after a moment of hesitation, he continued, driven by an unyielding determination. This first attempt to merge 22 different heavenly flames was undeniably insane. But relying on the miraculous effects of the flame mantra, he persisted, teeth clenched, despite the turbulent process. In this world, nothing comes without effort. Gaining great power always comes with a heavy price. Xiao Yan's attempt to merge the source powers of the heavenly flames from the Doqi continent's flame rankings was undoubtedly fraught with danger. However, this was a process of refinement. If successful, Xiao Yan could rely on the fusion technique to dominate the world. But even with such a powerful and mysterious technique as the flame mantra, failure would lead to. As the 22 vibrant flames reached their critical points of contact, they refused to merge further, no matter how hard Xiao Yan compressed them. Moreover, as he stubbornly continued to press them together, the terrifying energy within the fused flames began to grow more violent. Boom! Another thunderous explosion sounded as the fiery energy orb before Xiao Yan burst, sending flames scattering in all directions. Seeing the flame orb burst far beyond his expectations, Xiao Yan frowned. He watched as the massive fiery orb split open, resembling a deflated balloon. Xiao Yan's pupils contracted slightly, realizing this was a sign of imminent explosion due to the unstable energy. Xiao Yan, damn it, dissipate them quickly. If you don't, it's going to blow. Sensing the chaotic heavenly energy around Xiao Yan, his ancestor, the Golden Dragon King, shouted urgently. The Golden Dragon King, clearly unaware of what Xiao Yan was attempting, had noticed that the process hadn't gone smoothly since the beginning of the flame fusion. Concerned for Xiao Yan's safety, he shouted in alarm. He's such a foolish, overconfident brat. The three-winged unicorn laughed triumphantly, sensing the chaotic energy elements. Even as it laughed, its huge, beastly eyes remained fixed on Xiao Yan. It seemed the young man had earned some degree of recognition from the three-winged unicorn. It kept a close watch, curious about what Xiao Yan might accomplish with this fusion and wary of any impulsive actions he might take due to the capture of his sister. Ignoring the Golden Dragon King's advice, Xiao Yan kept his eyes firmly on the raging orb of flames before him. As he concentrated intensely, the world seemed to fall into a sudden silence. Even the wind stopped. At that moment, a wave of confusion suddenly flooded Xiao Yan's eyes. Yet his fingertips moved with the dexterity of plucking flowers, rapidly tapping the flames. With a surge of immense Do Qi generated by the flame mantra, he infused it into the chaotic flames. As the surge of Do Qi infused with the flame mantra poured into the fiery orb before him, the chaotic mass of flames started to calm down. It remained quiet for a second before erupting again with an even more terrifying wave of violent energy. The 22 different flames, sensing a dangerous aura from the Do Qi refined by the flame mantra, realized it was attempting to compress and fuse them into a single entity. However, these diverse flames were not about to let Xiao Yan achieve fusion so easily. They immediately began to resist fiercely. Damn it! Merge, damn you! Xiao Yan was taken aback by the sudden eruption of explosive energy from the fused flames. In response, he unleashed a surge of soul power, pouring it all into the chaotic fiery mass. The moment his formidable soul power touched the massive flame orb, the combined power of the 22 different flames exploded with intense force, resisting Xiao Yan's intrusion. Xiao Yan hadn't anticipated that the fusion would be so difficult. He immediately directed all his dou qi and soul power toward the fiery orb before him, his veins bulging, his dark eyes glaring fiercely at the mass of flames. The 22 differently colored flames squirmed slightly, and under the shocked gaze of the three-winged unicorn, they slowly condensed into a tiny seed, no larger than Xiao Yan's palm. This seemingly insignificant seed contained 22 dazzling hues. "I'll call you the Lotus of Desolation." Xiao Yan exhaled slowly, his tense expression relaxing. He gazed at the tiny, multicolored lotus seed in his palm, a captivating smile spreading across his lips.